Alright guys, here's the next what if. For what if Goku was sent to the past. So what happens now is Beerus wakes up and he goes to planet Earth 3 years after this. Everyone now can basically handle the Super Saiyan 3 form. Nappa has grown too old now and he's actually retired. He got married and settled down. He didn't have any children though, but he basically is an old man and retired at this stage. What happens now is Raditz meets Launch and they get married and they have a kid. And they call her Ranch. Yeah, from Masako X. Let's just keep it consistent because I'm not good with names that much. So then after this, what happens is as everyone's going to Bulma's birthday party, a purple cat appears with Whis. As then Beerus then says, which one of you is Son Goku? As Goku then says, who's this funny cat? Who invited you? As Beerus gets angry by this and says, I'll have you know, I'm the destroyer of this universe. And this causes Vegeta to get scared as he says, Goku, don't talk to him like as if he's anyone. I know him firsthand. Treat him with respect. As Goku then says, okay, I will. As Beerus then says, I simply wanted a spar with the most powerful Saiyan in the universe. Which Goku says, alright, that's no problem. We can have a spar. As Beerus then says, I'm not just a run-of-the-mill person, Goku. I'm a destroyer. That's why you can't sense my ki. My ki is divine. So, go into your full power. I want to fight you at your best. As Goku says, I don't know if that would be necessary, but okay. As Goku then launches into his Super Saiyan 4 transformation. As Whis is quite surprised by this and says, this is much more powerful than usual. I think it's because he trained it over these 3 years and he can basically control the form at ease now. As basically, Beerus and Goku enter a fight. And Beerus is pleased by this fight, but he's only using about 6%, 7% of his power. Since it's not the most powerful thing he's ever sensed, basically. As Beerus then says, alright, that's not enough. As he then, using his hand now instead of his finger, slaps Goku to the ground as Goku hits his base form. As he then says, are any of you guys the Super Saiyan God? To which Goku says, I've never even heard of that form, but I can ask about it. As he then summons Shenron and they ask, what is a Super Saiyan God? To which Shenron says, when 5 Saiyans basically pour out their energy to one Saiyan, the Super Saiyan God is born. So basically what happens now is all of them pour out their energy to Goku. Since they are much more than 5 Saiyans now, they have enough for sure. As Goku then basically becomes the Super Saiyan God, as he then fights against Beerus. Beerus exerting himself much more to about 9%. But then what happens now is Goku falls out of the transformation as Beerus is underwhelmed and he says, is this the best you can do? Well, I'll just destroy this planet then. As he launches a blast to destroy this planet. But then what happens is, since Goku absorbed the God Ki into his base, Goku then transforms into a Super Saiyan 4. As this pushes Beerus to about 15 to 20% of his power, or even more. As Goku is much more powerful than he was just an hour ago. As he then starts landing punches on Beerus, hitting him, punching him, knocking him. As Beerus realizes, I'm gonna actually have to go a bit serious on you. As he then has purple ki swirl around him. As he then with about 5 punches knocks Goku to the ground and Goku passes out. But Beerus is impressed with this as he says, alright, I'm satisfied. Can I join you guys for your party? So since no one would actually say no, Beerus ate with them and he had a really good time. As he says, whenever you want someone to train with, you can always come to my planet. Whis here is my instructor and he taught me everything. As Vegeta jumps at this opportunity and he says, yes, please, can I join? Please, boss, basically, like in a funny way. As Whis says, as long as you bring me good food once in a while, I'm good with that. As Vegeta then says, okay, let's set off right now. Right now. I need to defeat Goku. As Whis says, oh, alright, if you insist. As Vegeta and actually Raditz too go to train with Whis, while Goku stays on Earth for about 7 months. So Goku pops in to go to Beerus' planet to see what's going on, as he sees both Vegeta and Raditz pushing themselves to the limit, and in a blue head transformation that Goku can barely even sense. As they then say, well, we're on your level now, Kakarot. You should have been training. As basically Goku says, let's see how strong you guys actually are. As what happens is Vegeta, Raditz, and Goku fight each other. Vegeta and Raditz as a team fight against Goku. So Vegeta and Raditz manage to actually beat Goku, since they're two Super Saiyan Blues against Goku, who can only use Super Saiyan 4 at this moment. So Goku actually gets beaten, and this motivates him, and he says, well, if that's the case, I'm gonna start training again. This is farther than I've ever thought I'd go. As basically Goku then starts training, and he too unlocks the Super Saiyan Blue transformation, but he can feel something that he should unlock. Like, he can feel something that he'll almost be able to get, a mix of Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan 4. So then what happens now is we cut back to just after Frieza was killed. These were years ago, as we see King Cold sitting in his chambers, being told what happened to his son, how he was killed by Vegeta. But there was a Saiyan who was hundreds of times even stronger than that. As King Cold is shocked, and he knows he cannot avenge his son. As King Cold then says, no matter, I will begin to train. As he then calls his second son, Cooler, to come and train with him. As he promises Cooler all the planets that Frieza used to own. As Cooler is satisfied with this and trained with his father, they set off to train for 10 whole years. As they now are satisfied with the amount of power they've gained, as they're ready to fight against Goku. As what happens now is Cooler and King Cold have achieved golden transformations, and they can fully control it. As they then, hearing that Goku and Vegeta went to Beerus' planet, instead of going to Earth, go straight towards Beerus' planet, as they say, Goku, come out. We're here for a revenge. As Goku's intrigued by this, and he says, no matter, let's fight. As Vegeta and Raditz say, Kakarot, get out of here. It's between us and them. You never actually suffered from these frost demons. We did. So it's our job to give our revenge. So Raditz says, well, you fought Frieza the first time, so I'm fighting his father. And Vegeta says, well, that's only fair then. I'll fight against this Cooler fellow. As then, they both set out to fight against the frost demons. And this battle is a hard-fought one. The frost demons had trained for 10 years, while the Saiyans in this scenario had achieved the Super Saiyan Blue transformation and were actually starting out at a more powerful beginning. And on top of this, during the time skip, they were taught how to use their Kaioken. They never actually trained with it very much, so they can only use about Kaioken times 3. But this is enough. As they then say, Kaioken times 3 while in their Super Saiyan Blue transformations, which is enough to defeat the Frost Demons. So, as the Frost Demons are on their knees, what happens is, in a last-ditch attempt, they try blowing up the planet, and they actually succeed. And just as they were about to leave, Whis then uses his staff and says, haha, boy, you thought? As he then reverses time by 3 minutes. As Beerus then gets angry and he says, you guys actually managed to destroy this planet. Well, good thing Whis can turn back time. Now how shall I punish you for destroying a destroyer's planet? As they both shiver as they realize that they're actually screwed. As Beerus puts his hands on both their foreheads and says, Hakai, as they are both erased from existence, never to be seen again. So then, after this, what happened is that they keep on training. Goku at the cusp of unlocking something new. While in the meantime, Raditz and Vegeta get trained for this new thing called Ultra Instinct. While Goku in this scenario actually decides to focus a bit more on his other abilities, such as the Super Saiyan 4. And what happens now is we see future Trunks crash onto planet Earth in shock as they ask, what's the problem? As all that Trunks has to say is Goku Black. As Goku remembers why he came here in the first place. It was to defeat this Goku Black fellow. As Goku Black now is a whole different type of enemy. As what happens now is they go to future Trunks' world. As Goku Black then looks at Goku and says, Goku, it's been a while, hasn't it? Just as you went back in time, I managed to escape. So I still remember what happened. Well, I managed to destroy about 4 other timelines. And now I've come for this one too. As Goku damns himself for not being able to stop Zamasu sooner. But there's nothing he can do now. As he then says, Goku Black, it's just you and me. Let's see what you can do. As Goku Black, his hair turns purple. His hair turns pink as he says, this is my Super Saiyan Rosé form. You know it quite well. I know that much. Well, now that you've become stronger, I took a body that was just about as strong as yours from the future. One that unlocked Super Saiyan 4 and became much more powerful. Which means that I too can control the Super Saiyan 4 power. As he then shouts, as his hair stands up, he becomes more furry. He screams like an ape. And eventually he reaches Super Saiyan 4 Rosé, the mix between the two transformations. And Goku cannot answer to this. He gets knocked by a Goku Black and bashed and beaten, and he's left on the ground. But then this unlocks something in Goku. He's angry, as Goku Black explains how he became Goku Black, how he was a Masu. He got jealous of the mortals and he stole Goku's body and killed his family. This makes Goku angry, as he unlocks a rage that he had never had before, as he then mixes Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan 4 himself, making himself increasingly more powerful with Super Saiyan 4 Blue. As now Zamasu is put on the back foot. As now what happens is, since they have the same power, since Goku has had his body for longer, he has more experience and he has learned more. As Goku then manages to knock Zamasu down, beat him up, but just as he's about to win, another Zamasu interrupts him, which is, so Goku Black and Zamasu then say, it's time to do a last-ditch effort, as then they fuse. And Raditz and Vegeta and Goku and Future Trunks have no answer to this, as now merged Zamasu is born with Super Saiyan 4 abilities too, which is so hard to defeat. And just as Goku is coming up with ways to defeat him, what happens is the Supreme Kai manages to come and he says, don't worry, we have a plan. Here is fusion. As he then gives Goku Potara earrings, as he then says, fuse with whoever you choose and defeat him. As then Goku decides, for all time's sake, as he throws the Potara to Vegeta and says, don't worry, it will only last for an hour. As Vegeta says, it better last for an hour, Kakarot. As then Vegeta says, does that mean we can also use the technique I was working on? As Goku says, yes, that means you can. As then Vegeta says, good. As Vegeta then says, as then we cut back to a flashback, as we see Raditz working on something called Ultra Instinct. But Vegeta says, that's I don't want to dodge attacks, I want to hurt people. As Beerus says, no problem, I will teach you the way of a destroyer. I call it Ultra Ego. As Vegeta then masters this technique. As now, Vegito is born. Goku and Vegeta fused. As Vegito then says, this is Super Saiyan 4. This is what Vegeta gave me. As Vegito then shows purple energy, as purple energy flows around his body, as the power of a destroyer flows through his veins, and he says, this is called Ultra Ego. As Super Saiyan 4 Ultra Ego is born, and Zamasu is battered, beaten, bruised by this attack. And eventually, Zamasu is put on the back foot with nothing he can do, as his body starts rejecting him. And Goku says, normally this would be it, but since you're immortal, I have to be more creative with you. As he then says Hakai first of all, which destroys the Goku Black part of Zamasu. And then he says, this is the Mafuba I learned from Roshi, as he then seals the immortal Zamasu into a container for safekeeping. So what happens now is he takes this Zamasu to the back to the present, as Future Trunks' timeline is now safe, and Goku is relieved that he has finally eliminated the threat of Goku Black. As now Goku then takes it to Beerus to destroy it. But then Whis says, even Beerus can't destroy this Zamasu, since Zamasu wished to be immortal on the Super Dragon Balls. There's only one man who can solve this. As Whis called the Grand Priest, and the Grand Priest then says, and then the Grand Priest then comes with Zeno. As Zeno says, I was watching that fight. Usually I would destroy you for time travel, but that was actually an entertaining fight, and I want one, and I want to see entertaining fights like that again. As Goku then says, you could always hold a tournament, as this piques Zeno's interest. A tournament of power. Well, thanks for the idea. As Goku then says, no problem, as he shakes Zeno's hand and they become friends, shocking everyone around them, especially Beerus and Whis. As Zeno says, we'll hold a tournament of power at some point. Maybe in the next 6 months. Yes, 6 months. As Zeno then gives Goku a button, and he tells Goku, press this whenever you need help, or whenever you want to visit me. Make sure to actually come visit me though. So then Zeno then goes back to his palace with Zamasu and erases him. While in the meantime, what happens now is Goku starts training for the tournament of power for 6 months. So that's where I'll leave it for now. What happens now is Goku takes everyone for some hard training as he selects his teammates. So this is where I'm going to leave this what if off. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, have a good day.